There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's eye, and it looks like it's climbing right up to the sky. Oh, what a beautiful morning. I said, oh, what a beautiful day. You know I got a beautiful feeling that everything is going my way. All the cattle are standing like statues. All the cattle are standing like statues. And they don't turn their heads as they see me ride by. But a little brown maverick is winking her eye. Oh, what a beautiful morning. I said, oh, what a beautiful day. And you know I've got a beautiful feeling, yes I do, that everything's going my way. All the sounds of the earth are like music. All the sounds of the earth are like music. And the breeze is so busy, it don't miss a tree. And old weeping willow is laughing at me. Oh, what a beautiful morning, isn't it? I said, oh, what a beautiful day. And you know that I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. Oh, what a beautiful day. What a beautiful day.
Thank you, Kelly Hunt. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity Temple in the Plaza, a place where diversity is praised and peace and harmony are the rewards. You know, the prices on almost everything are just going up to the point where I don't know where affordability comes in anymore. I got the water bill and the electrical bill for the church, and I opened them both at the same time, and I was shocked. Come on, come on. Oof. Yeah, that's nothing compared to the price of chimneys. They're going through the roof. Okay, on to the announcements. Just trying to cheer things up a little bit. Rory's not with us today. As some of you might know, he's a funeral director in Warrensburg, and he had a Sunday morning funeral, which is quite unusual, but he's down there tending to that and those people's needs. He is planning for a movie showing called On Death, and I saw the previews last night. And anytime I see something about death, I don't think it's what I want to focus on, but this was going through personal experiences and different research that shows the dying experience, the death experience as being just blissful. And what happens afterwards, nobody really knows for sure, but if that's the entryway, if that's the preface, we know that life after this life is going to reward us all, as it should. We'll now begin the service with the temple chimes, the opening prayer, and Kelly Hunt with the call to inspiration. The opening prayer can be found on the inside page of your bulletin. I invite you to say it with me if you choose. Together, on this day, we dedicate ourselves to peace on earth. We accept ourselves without harsh judgment and express appreciation for our individuality. We live without fear to meet the events of this day with confidence. We accept others without prejudice to experience a sense of unity with all people. We honor our earthly environment and recognize a oneness with all creation, in harmony with ourselves, our lives, other people, and all of nature. We live this day with a peaceful mind, a peaceful heart, and a peaceful spirit. Thank you, God. Amen.
I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of, is love. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace.
We'll now sing our opening hymn. You can stay seated or you can stand if you like. The words are on the screen or on the back page of your bulletin.
The morn of truth is breaking, 10,000 notes of love from tuneful souls are waking to swell the songs of love. Come praise that glorious anthem for over hill and plain, for truth in radiant splendor has come on earth to reign. Oh, reign in every household where there's one soul that's sad. Come as a radiant angel, a light to make it glad. Come, truth, shine on in splendor, dispel the shades of gloom, and where there seems a desert, a rose shall burst in bloom. Come in, thou peaceful angel, and open the gates of day with beams of living love light. Chase all false away. Thou art that light from heaven to glow in every soul. For now truth in splendor and age on ages roll. Life is shaped by who we say we come here to be. Create in me. The door is open if we are willing to walk consciously. Create in me. My wildest dreams come true. I see the same for you. The only moment we ever have is right now, you see. Create in me. The door is open if we are willing to walk consciously, create in me. Anything is possible now. Everything our mind will allow. Life is shaped by who we say we have come here to be. Create in me. Oh, anything is possible now. Everything our minds will allow. Oh, my wildest dreams come true. And I see the same for you. Life is shaped by who we say we've come here to be. Create in me.
Wanted to share a letter that was written by my friend Helen to her dear friend Betty. Dear Betty, the other day I bought a bumper sticker that read, "Honk if you love Jesus." I proudly put it on the back of my car. Oh boy, am I ever glad that I did. What an uplifting experience was to follow. I was stopped at a red light at a very busy intersection, just lost in thought about how good the Lord is. And I didn't notice that the light had actually turned green. It's a good thing somebody else loves Jesus. Because if he hadn't honked, I'd have never noticed that the light had changed. I found that lots of people love Jesus. Before I had the chance to put my foot on the accelerator, the man behind me started honking like crazy. And then he leaned out of his window and screamed, "For the love of God, go, go, go! Jesus Christ, go!" What an exuberant cheerleader he was for Jesus. Soon everybody started honking. I just leaned out my window to wave and smile at all those loving people. I even honked my own horn a few times just to share in the love. There must have been a man from Florida behind me because I heard somebody yelling something about a sunny beach. Another guy was waving at me in a funny way with only his middle finger stuck up in the air. I asked my grandson, who was in the back seat, what that meant. He said it was the Hawaiian good luck sign. Well, I never met anybody from Hawaii, so I leaned out the window and gave him the good luck sign right back. My grandson burst out in laughter. Why, even he was finding the joy of the Lord in this sacred experience. A couple of people who were so caught up in the moment, they actually got out of their cars and started walking toward me. I bet they wanted to pray. But then I noticed the light was changing from green to yellow. I waved to all my brothers and sisters as I drove through the intersection. I noticed that I was the only car that got through the yellow light before it turned red again. I felt so sad to have to leave all those loved ones behind after all that we had shared together. So I slowed down the car, leaned out the window, and gave them all the Hawaiian good luck sign one last time as I drove away. Praise the Lord for such wonderful folks. And that's just proof positive that every one of us in this room and every one of us on this planet is in a world completely of our own. I like that story and wanted to share it with you. One of my favorites. So, not to get too personal on you this morning, but just a question. How many of you woke up this morning? How many of you woke up fully conscious and aware of the experience of waking up in the morning? You know, there's so many things in life, my friends, isn't it true, that we just sort of take for granted. And waking up is one of them. And living each day of our life in this body, on this planet, is another one of them. So my encouragement to you this morning, if you don't hear anything else I say, that's okay. Just please hear these words. Join me in becoming more consciously aware of your experience when you first awaken in the morning. Do your best to realize that you are about to walk into a gift that is beyond compare. Just take a moment with me right now and put your hand right or left in front of your face. Now, wiggle your fingers. How is that happening? Could you join me in perceiving that to be a miraculous activity in its own right? And you see, this kind of field of miracles is around us all the time. But so often we fall asleep to it. We're numb to it because we become preoccupied with the activities, the events, the obligations of each day. So join me today, if you would, and just give it a try for 30 days. Put a little sign on your nightstand that says, when I wake up this morning, I'm going to wake up consciously aware of the gift of my life and the opportunities that are before me. And I'm going to hold those first and foremost in my consciousness as this day unfolds. John C. Maxwell says this: you will never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success will always be found in your daily routine. And that routine, my friends, begins when we awaken in the morning, being conscious of what we are thinking, what we are feeling, and what we are experiencing right in those first moments when our eyes open. It's actually been studied that your mind, especially your subconscious mind, is more receptive to ideas and input when you first get up in the morning. And you know, I used to be one of those kind of people that would wake up in the morning and say, just give me 5 more minutes, hit the alarm, hit the snooze button. I don't want to do that anymore. And it's been a practice of mine for years now to be more aware of this gift of awakening. Every single day of your life, my friends, is like a lifetime in itself. Did you ever see the old Star Trek? It was Spock, I think, who in one 20-minute episode lived an entire life. And in a very real way, you could say that we are doing the very same thing. How you start your day makes your day, my friends. And I'm here as a living testimony to say the difference is dramatic. How you start your day makes your day. So be aware of how you're influencing yourself during the first few minutes when you awaken in the morning. Your mind is receptive and clear, and so often we might be prone to grab our phone and see if anybody's called us during the wee hours of the night or early hours of the morning. We might go right to the morning news. We might check social media out, email, text. Friends, there's going to be time for all of that as the day progresses. There is time for activity. But the most important thing that you can do when you first wake up is just take those moments to treasure the fact that you're still alive and that you're here to be able to accomplish all the things that you know the day is going to hold for you. But leave your phone alone. That was actually poetic, wasn't it? Leave your phone alone. We're so obsessed with these things, aren't we? It's almost like you can't leave home without it. Leave it at home, especially, and leave it alone when you're getting up in the morning. Just take those few moments. And this doesn't have to be a long process. It can be. For me, it has become that, especially since I'm in this, what the world calls retirement stage of my life now. I'm actually busier than ever. But my commitment is to those first few moments. And what I did years ago, at the recommendation of an author by the name of Tim Peering, was I created a goal book for my life. Because what he said was, if you put your goals down in writing, number one, that's significant, just putting your intentions, your goals, your objectives in writing. And then you review those first thing when you get up in the morning, you'll stand a greater chance of being successful in every arena of your existence. So I started doing that, and it worked very effectively. It has progressed over these years into a morning ritual, and I call it the morning book. It's a simple process of just keeping a pad of paper or keeping a small computer or pad nearby to where you're going to awaken. And in that, you have like a journal for yourself. And in that journal, you're going to ask yourself 9 questions. Now, you can make this however you like. I'm giving you a prescription here, as I always like to do, but my real encouragement to each of you is to figure out what works best for you in terms of how you want to greet the day as it begins. The 9 questions I'm going to discuss with you this morning do not require a lot of thinking on your part. And it's easy to overthink everything in the world today, is it not? So easy to overthink. It's not about overthinking. It's about plugging into a stream of consciousness which is really available to you in a real, true, and honest way in those early morning hours, or whatever time of day you wake up. It's accessible to you. So I'm going to review these 9 questions with you this morning, and you'll hear pieces and parts of past messages that I've shared with you, because all of this is leading up to this morning. And you're being able to begin a process of morning journaling and ritual that I believe can really deepen and enrich your life. And it starts with the first question: what am I loving? Just to check in with yourself. This is all about self-awareness. So when you first get up, just take a moment and say, what am I loving right now in my life or in my experience? It could be the comfort of your bed, it could be the pillows, it could be the roof that you have over your head, but just what is it that I'm loving? Family, friends, associates. What am I loving? That's the first question. Remember that love and gratitude are very close companions, friends. And what I mean by that is when you love something, your chances are going to be very grateful for it. And when you're very grateful for something, you're going to be loving it. So what am I loving? Second question: what am I thinking? So we go from what am I loving to what's on my mind as I awaken this morning. And this is, again, just a light process. You don't have to spend forever with it. If you're doing this in a journal, you can write these answers. If you're doing it on an electronic format, you can simply put them on the screen of your computer. But just give a moment to ask yourself, what am I thinking? Remember when we talked about the Mind movie? Remember when we talked about how what we think about, we bring about? So being mindful, first thing when you get up in the morning, and then sort of holding that posture, that mental posture through the day, brings great rewards. Simply because you're realizing if you're thinking about it, you could be bringing it about in your life, and that's important. So often we think it's just a thought, and there are some 50,000 thoughts, they say, that roll through our minds in the course of a day. But here we're trying to get centered on what is it we're thinking, and be aware that these collections of thoughts that we're holding, especially in the early morning hours, have the power to produce experience. Third question is, what am I feeling? And I call this the emotion potion. It's the combination of feelings that we are holding about the thoughts that we are holding, because every thought typically promotes some kind of a feeling. And becoming aware of how you're feeling, and it doesn't have to be, oh, I wake up feeling super dynamic and glorious every single morning. If you're not feeling up to it, if you're not feeling on your game, that's okay. But just taking this time to check in, what am I feeling when I first get up in the morning? Here's a big one and an important one. What am I resisting? And my experience is, I'm never without an answer to that question. Because there's always something, it seems, that I'm resisting, that I'm pushing against. And you know, we have to be careful, my friends, very careful when we push against anything, because pushing against something does not make it go away. What we resist always persists. So what we want to do is just become aware of anything we might be resisting and be willing to embrace it. Be willing to let it go. And the way we let things go is not by pushing them away, but by allowing them, by embracing them, by accepting and loving ourselves no matter what it is that we may be feeling any moment that we wake up, no matter what it is that we may be resisting. And so often resistance is an unconscious activity. But the problem with resistance is it keeps us from relaxing, from being relaxed individuals. And relaxation, I told you a few weeks ago, I think is the single most important ingredient on the spiritual journey. It's very difficult for the free-flowing love, peace, harmony, and joy of the Almighty to move through us when we have all of these self-imposed obstructions set up in the way. So the idea of this is to let go of whatever you're resisting. Oh, I know the human mind is capable of giving us wonderful justification as to why we should not let it go, why our resistance is called for and justified. But I tell you, at the end of the day, my friends, that resistance is keeping us from being able to live our lives in a complete state of relaxation, comfort, and ease. And all three of those are super important to the allowance on our part of the activity of God as the Holy Spirit to flow and to roll through us. The next question, and we talked about this some time back when I spoke to you about the blame game. Next quick question is, what am I blaming? What am I blaming? Where is there any pocket or possibility that I'm not willing to accept responsibility for my human experience? And I find very easy to, even after all these years of spiritual study, to point that finger of blame out here and just say, well, if this person would change, if that condition would change, if these events were not happening in the world. And don't we all see clearly what's happening in the world right now? Do we see it as a problem, or do we see it as a possibility for us to change the way, the mentality that we've been living our lives out of individually? And then in so doing, we contribute differently to the collective consciousness that's on the planet. And I'm a big believer that that's the only way this world is ever going to change, because this world is an effect, my friends, and the cause of that effect is individually in every one of our minds. It's collectively in the mind of all of us together. So when you change your mind, you're actually changing your contribution to the effect that is your daily life and our collective daily life as the family of humanity on this planet. Next question is, what am I? What am I? And we spoke about that, if you recall, in a lesson. I think it was the first one I ever gave here after I came back to Kansas City. And that one was called identity theft. And I pointed out that from a unity perspective and from my own personal perspective, there are two natures within us. I don't like so much to refer to it anymore as God and I even, or the Christ and I. I like to think of them coming together as one identity, and that one identity has two different natures to it. The first nature is your authentic nature, and the second nature is your fictional nature. Your authentic nature is the truth of who you are. And regardless of any erroneous programming or mental conditioning that you've received, you are made in the image and the likeness of pure love, pure peace, and pure joy. And as you begin to accept that for yourself, you begin to identify more and more authentically with your authentic nature, as opposed to the fictional nature, which is a story. It's a story that we've all made up. It's a movie that we've made up. It's a fantasy in our minds. It's a fiction, to be sure, but it's an identity that is not true for us. You can live out of whatever identity that you choose. I can tell you this, whatever you define yourself to be will be what dictates the experience of your life. So whether I'm right or wrong standing up here before you this morning, wouldn't you rather think of yourself as being an authentic, loving being than some kind of a fictional creation that is subject to lack, limitation, poverty, disease? Remember, whatever we're holding up here as the definition of ourselves is going to produce in some form or fashion in our life experience. And here's where we've been spending the last couple weeks, my last couple of visits here with you. What am I valuing? We talked about doing a value inventory and identifying what you really care about in life and what matters to you. Because even though it seems like we're going to be here forever, and I realize this more every day with the passing of time and my own chronological maturity, it's a very brief and fleeting experience. So to know what's most important, what we care about, what matters to us, and to live in integrity with it is, I believe, a super important objective while we're dancing around on this planet. The eighth question, what am I focusing on? And this was just the last time I was with you. We talked about hocus focus. Not hocus pocus, to be confused easily because it's the holiday season, but hocus focus. That what you focus on actually has the ability to manifest materially in your life. Realizing that everything that we experience out here in time and space begins as an idea, as a thought. And it moves from thought into manifest physical reality by virtue of the power of our minds. For these minds that we are walking around with are powerful projectors, my friends. And the content that we hold within them is reflected in every aspect of our existence. So you want to change your life. You want to stop being a victim of time, space, and circumstances. This is the key to being able to do that. To be willing to take total responsibility for every aspect of your life, of your experience. And while that may seem like a lot to take in, I'm responsible for everything, seems overwhelming. But the reality is this: once you realize you're doing this to yourself, as Course in Miracles tells us, once you realize you're doing this to yourself, now you have the ability to change what you're doing. And when you change what you're doing, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're holding in the content of your consciousness, your world begins to change. Your experience of absolute reality begins to change. And you automatically start to align yourself more and more with this authentic nature. And that authentic nature then becomes the author, the producer, and the star of every pocket of your experience from day to day. So the ability for us to realize the power and the connection that we have here, friends, is just huge. My encouragement to you this morning is if you are not able to do anything else on the spiritual journey, and I know you all are, and probably most of you have been, take this into consideration. You think it's just a fleeting thought. You think it's just a feeling that will come and go, or an experience that's been caused by some unfortunate energy or circumstance that's been thrust upon you from outside of yourself. Nothing here, my friends, is coming to us from outside to inside. It's all being produced from the inside to the outside. Mind is the origin of all of this. So yeah, it does seem like a lot to say I'm responsible for my experience, but the potential then for you to realize the unlimited nature of the life you are capable of living, not 10 years down the road, not after you pass away and walk past the pearly gates, but right now, in this moment, right now, and most certainly when you get up tomorrow morning, if I have my way, which sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, but again, suggestions, thoughts, and ideas. What am I focusing on? And finally, the ninth question is, what am I believing? What I have found is that when asked these questions, just in conversation, I would be quick to think that I had answers to all of them, and that those answers were easily accessible. But again, it's not the case, because there is so much. Have you noticed in the world right now how many distractions there are to pull you away from what really matters to you? It's so easy to live a distracted life. But again, we're just here for a few fleeting moments. So pull that distraction back in, take the responsibility, and ask yourself specifically, what do I really believe? Now, I want to tell you this morning, standing up here and being a minister for as long as Duke has been, which is a long time, I want to tell you that I believe that God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. I want to believe that I have a divine, authentic identity that's the truth of who I am, and I want to live in integrity with it. I want to believe that everybody in this room and on this planet is a beautiful child of God. I want to believe that. But if I'm really honest with myself, I don't. Not always. And sometimes it surprises me how little it takes in terms of an external distraction to pull me off track. I want to say I believe God is absolute good everywhere present. I want to believe that there are no other powers in this experience except the one presence and the one power of God. But when I watch the news, which I try to the best of my ability to do only on rare occasions, so that I know what's happening, but I'm not absorbed in it, it's really difficult. You get it? This is one power, one presence. It's God. It's good. If we're not able to see that, my friends, it's not because what's going on out here is messed up. It's because the filters that we ourselves have placed before our vision, also known as false beliefs that I've invested myself in, is creating the image that I'm observing. It's not allowing me to see the one presence and the one power that is God, that is always with me, before me. And so this question of what do I believe is an ongoing question. It's like, I believe that a little bit, I believe that a lot, I believe that completely, but I don't believe this all the time. I'd like to, especially having studied these principles for so long. So I'm telling you here, it's like true confessions. It takes time. It's not always easy. But we can be gentle with ourselves when we go off track and we're believing something that we don't really think is true, but our conditioned mind is producing it and reminding us of it. To be very gentle and just say, you know, that's a belief that I seem to be holding, or a belief that I seem to be doubting, and I'm okay with it. I'm going to love myself in spite of that, and I'm going to ease my way more deeply into completely believing in what I tell myself and others is most important and precious to me. So I propose to you this morning that you and I have made some decisions. Some of those have been conscious decisions, and some of those have been unconscious decisions. But we've made decisions about what's important to us, and we've made decisions about what we're willing to believe as well as what we're wanting to believe. And in so doing, I shared this with you some time back, I believe we are each creating, founding, and hopefully seeking to live in integrity with our own religion. And I mentioned to you in that same talk, I believe this is the spirit of the unity movement. Yes, we have a wonderful teaching, but we also had two individuals who more than 100 years ago were in dire straits. They didn't know what to do, but they kept their minds open. And as they received insights, as they received ideas, they practiced them. And if they worked and they resonated with them on an internal level, they constructed a belief system. And whether we consider ourselves to be Unity, Baptist, Catholic, it doesn't matter. We've got a belief system. And even if we put a name over that or an umbrella like Unity, in all likelihood there are going to be some beliefs and ideas that will be outside of that prescribed set of teachings that is held by whatever organized religion we consider ourselves to be a part of. It's okay to make your own religion. It's okay to make up your own system of values. It's okay to decide what you believe in, regardless of what any external authority tells you you ought to believe in or you should believe in. Because there is this part of your own nature that knows already in this moment exactly what you believe in, that knows what it's attracted to, what it wants to go for, what it resonates with. And I'll tell you, there's nothing like unleashing yourself to follow that, my friends. The power that comes from being in integrity with a belief system and a system of personal values that you are living in integrity with and you are demonstrating in your life every day, it doesn't get any better than that. And you have everything you need to live in just that manner, because that's the manner from which you've been created. And then as you explore this process, if you choose to do that, of lightly journaling with yourself in the morning, asking these questions or whatever questions best resonate with you, or asking no questions at all, just taking a few moments to reflect on what's going on in your consciousness before you get caught up in the busyness of the day. It's going to bring you to a place where you'll be able to more completely answer the most important questions of your life whenever you ask yourself or whenever you're asked by an external party, and you'll begin to create, if I could be so bold, your own holy scriptures in this journal. Because this is going to be the story of your life, and it's going to be the story of your own spiritual revelation. And I tell you, the Bible is nothing more or less than just that. It's the story of your own spiritual unfoldment. And now you can begin to claim that for yourself. You're writing, in essence, your own Bible that's created out of your own religion. Now, if that's too audacious for you, I get it. But I dropped it before you this morning, so you can do with it what you like. As for me, here is my religion, briefly scribed into one sheet of paper that I could say this morning is my Bible. Today I let love and gratitude lead my life. Today I monitor my thoughts. Today I embrace my emotions. Today I relax. Today I realize that I am not a victim of the world I see. Today I take responsibility for my experience. Today I remember who and what I am. Today I know what I care about most. Today I focus only on what I want. Today I commit to what I have decided to believe in. Jiddu Krishnamurti. He was an Indian philosopher. I really like this guy, though I never had much experience with him when he was on the planet. Marge, you may know the name. He was an Indian philosopher who emphasized freedom from any religious, spiritual, or cultural authority. He was designated by the theosophical tradition as the world teacher in initial caps. That was the title that he had arrived with and been given. But he later in his life rejected that title and left the movement altogether. And he left many words of wisdom with us, but these are the ones I'm going to leave with you this morning. As we are, the world is. That is, if we are greedy, envious, or competitive, our society will be greedy, envious, and competitive, which brings misery and war. To bring about order and peace, we must begin with ourselves and not with a society, for the world is nothing more or less than ourselves. The Art of Waking Up, Valuable Living, The Morning Book. These are all philosophies and tools to help you, my friends, live a more peaceful, loving, and joyous life experience. And there's only one reason I want you to do that. Well, actually, that's not true. There's two reasons. I want you to be happy. I really want you to be happy. And if you are, I'm thrilled. I want you to be joyous. I want you to be peaceful. I want you to awaken every morning and your answers to all these questions or whatever process you employ will be, God, I've never felt more peaceful. I've never felt more loving. I've never felt more joyous in my life. And I want you to have that experience for you personally because it's so rich and so rewarding. And it keeps getting richer and it keeps getting more rewarding. The other reason I wish this for you is because I want with all my heart. You know, Karen and I were just talking on the way over this morning about what's going on in the world and the way people are treating one another and concerns and woes and worries about the future. And I want this world to be what I truly in my heart have come to realize is God's creation. And that's a world that is loving. Why can't we do that? Why have we struggled so long? Why have we allowed ourselves to be enslaved by beliefs that don't serve us and don't serve the collective? So as you begin to become a happier person, a more joyous person, a more carefree person, this world must, in form and fashion, follow suit. And that's the reason I think that this temple was built 75 years ago. I think it's why the unity movement was created more than 100 years ago. I think it's why I'm standing up here this morning. I think it's why you're in this room, because I think all of us have been attracted to this moment, this place, this time, because we know there is a better way, and we are committed from the very depths of our being to playing our part to make it so. God bless you.
On a day like this, it all comes clear. what we've done before, what we're doing here. When love finds its way to you, it shines like the stars to light a path before you and show you who you are, to take you in its arms and give you one sweet taste of bliss on a day like this. It takes your breath away, gives you all you've hoped for, bright as this brand new day on a day like this. On a day like this.
As you move into meditation, find a comfortable place in your chair. Just take a deep breath, and as you exhale, feel your entire body becoming relaxed. And for a moment or two, just breathe in, hold it for a moment, and as you breathe out, feel yourself going deeper and deeper into a sense of peace, into a state of harmony, into a place of relaxation. Our primary objective, our primary goal, our primary point of intention is each of us desires deep within us to become a beneficial presence, to have our existence benefit not only ourselves so that we become more of what we are, but also benefit this world and all the people in it. And the best way to do that is to become a peaceful presence. That's what the world needs most. A peaceful presence. You have all the peace there is inside you. It's at times different thoughts, different feelings, different situations, or circumstances will distract us. And the peace will get covered up. In the dark clouds of anger or disenchantment or high criticism will seep in. And at that time, we don't benefit anybody. So now move into the silence. Think peace. Think peaceful mind. That you are at peace with all the situations and circumstances in your life. Peaceful heart. That you're at peace with all the people in your world, peaceful spirit. That you're at peace with who you are in the existence that you're living. Peaceful mind, peaceful heart, peaceful spirit in the silence. Slowly begin to bring yourself back for meditation at your own pace. There's no hurry, there's no rush. And as you become more and more present of the outer world around you, the thoughts and feelings that you use to negotiate life, just give thanks for all you have, for all that you are, and for all that will be. And so it is.
On a day like this, takes your breath away. It gives you all that you hoped for, bright as this brand new day. On a day like this, on a day like this.
This is the time of the service when we take a moment to express our gratitude for whatever's pleasant in your life, whatever you appreciate, for whatever's out there. Give thanks for it all. Today I give thanks for Reverend Chris Michaels. No, not Chris Jackson, excuse me. Chris Michaels is another minister. He's a competition out there. I give thanks for him too, but to Chris Jackson, first of all, that was not a Freudian slip. And I give thanks for everybody in the audience. I give thanks for this place that is such a blessing to all of us. And we say together that divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have and all that I receive. Please say that with me. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I have and all that I receive. And so it is.
This is a new day for us. This is a new day for us. This is a new way for us. This is a new way for us. This is a new life. This is a new hope. This is a new day for us. This is a new world for us. Oh, yes, it is. This is a new world for us. This is a new love. This is a new life. This is a new hope. This is a new way. This is a new day for us. This is a new day for us.
That concludes our service for today. We'll end with the prayer for protection and the peace song. Please stand. Together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.